My son, my daughter, today I call you to listen with an attentive heart, because this word is not meant to entertain you or feed your curiosity, but to heal an old wound that still bleeds silently, even when no one sees it. Listen carefully. Someone who hurt you will soon need you. And when that happens, it won't be just about them. It will be about what I am building inside of you, because your healing is deeply connected to your ability to respond with grace where there once was pain, to extend your hand where there once was rejection. And even if everything inside you still wants to protect itself, raise walls, and shut the windows of the soul, I come today to remind you that your story does not end in offense, betrayal, abandonment, or injustice. Your story continues in the place where forgiveness becomes a bridge, not a prison. I saw when you were hurt. I saw when they said what they shouldn't have, when they wounded your trust, when they mocked your devotion, when they turned their back on you right when your soul cried out for presence. I saw when your eyes filled with tears, but your mouth chose silence. I saw when your hands stayed closed to avoid repaying evil with evil, when your feet stopped short of walking away from it all. And in that exact moment when you felt small, forgotten, fragile, I drew near, not like the world draws near, but like a father who knows every hair on your head, every scar on your soul, every memory that insists on returning when the room goes dark and the night stretches on. Son, daughter, you weren't weak for trusting. You weren't naive for loving. You weren't blind for believing it was real. Love was never your mistake. The mistake was the heart of the one who didn't recognize the value of your presence. But listen, the one who seems distant today, the one who hurt you, the one who judged you without knowing your struggle, the one who mocked your devotion, that very person will soon need you. And when that happens, you will remember these words. You will remember that I prepared you for that moment, not so you could throw the past in their face or prove you were right, but so you could show what it means to be my child. So you could show that the wound turned into healing and abandonment into an altar. I am raising up a generation that does not respond as the world does. A generation that does not take revenge but rises in compassion. A generation with clean hands and whole hearts. And you are part of that generation. It's no coincidence that pain passed through your story. It's no accident that betrayal crossed your path. It's no fluke that disappointment knocked at your door just when everything seemed to be blooming. I allowed you to go through that, not to destroy you, but to forge in you a heart like mine. Because I am the God who loves those who wound him. I am the father who embraces the prodigal son before he even says he's sorry. I am the teacher who washes the feet even of the one who is about to betray him. And if you say you follow me, then your love must be greater than your pain. I know you still carry the weight of cursed words. I know there are voices inside you that say you're weak, you're not enough, you were foolish. But today I silence those voices with my truth. You are strong for choosing the path of peace. You are wise for not responding with aggression. You are brave for moving forward without applause. And that is exactly why I chose you, to be the answer to those who saw you as a problem. And when that moment comes, and it will, you won't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You'll just look with mercy and understand. This pain made me grow. This rejection taught me to depend on God. This wound taught me how to truly love. And it will be in that moment that freedom will manifest in you, because true freedom isn't living without pain. It's not being ruled by it. True freedom is reaching out your hand without losing your dignity. It's knowing you could demand repayment, but choosing to release instead. It's understanding that your strength doesn't lie in executing justice with your own hands, but in trusting that heaven's justice always arrives at the perfect time. I tell you, you will be sought by those who didn't value you. You will be remembered by those who tried to erase you. You will be called by those who mocked your pain. And that day, you won't need to prove anything. Your presence will be enough proof that my spirit is in you. Because only those who carry me inside can embrace what once hurt them, can offer bread to those who denied them sustenance, can smile where they once wept. And if today your heart still feels broken, if there are pieces of you scattered in moments that still hurt, give it all to me now. Don't carry that baggage into your future. Don't lock up the doors of your affection. Don't let bitterness become poison. I am the God who turns wounds into testimonies, and if you allow me to touch your memories, even what was lost will become a bridge to the eternal. Remember Joseph. Remember the boy rejected not by strangers but by his own household, by brothers who should have loved him but hated him because of the dreams I planted in his spirit. Remember how he was torn from his father's arms and thrown into a pit, surrounded by darkness and stones, hearing cruel laughter and footsteps walking away from his innocence. Remember how he was sold like an object, treated like nothing, taken far from everything he knew, and still there, in that foreign land, when everything seemed lost, Joseph kept his heart clean. He did not curse me. He didn't get lost in rebellion. He chose to stay faithful. Remember the prison, remember the chains, remember the nights when the cold cell seemed like the end. And even in that silence, I spoke to him. Inside that prison, I forged a noble spirit. Because Joseph was not forgotten, he was hidden, prepared, refined like an instrument before the grand concert. And when I brought him from the shadows into the light, no one could say it was luck, it was promise. It was purpose, it was divine design. And when those who had hurt him arrived, hungry, weak, unaware of who he was, I had already healed his heart. He wept, yes, because true forgiveness doesn't ignore the pain. But he also embraced because true love conquers pain. The throne wasn't the climax of Joseph's story. The true climax was the embrace, the restoration of the family, the proof that the evil planned by men was turned to good by my hands. And so it will be with you, because your pain, your silence, your faithfulness in secret, all of it is being used by me to write a story that others will read and say, that was God. And that's why I warn you, soon someone who hurt you will knock on the door of your heart. Maybe with a low voice, eyes full of regret, maybe with an apology or just a look pleading for a second chance. Maybe a father who never knew how to be a father, a mother who left you alone, a friend who turned their back on you, a love who betrayed you. Maybe someone who didn't even realize how deeply they hurt you, but you know, your soul knows. And when it happens, when that reunion unfolds, it won't be random, it will be a stage set by heaven. And you'll face two roads, to relive the pain as a victim or to redefine the past as a witness of grace. I pray you choose healing because you weren't made to be a prison of bitterness, but a channel of mercy. I need you free, free to love without fear, free to lead without open wounds, free to be a bridge between what was and what is yet to come. Every time you forgive, you open a door for heaven to act. Every time you choose not to repay evil with evil, you activate the invisible power that changes destinies. Because every healed wound becomes an answer for other wounds around you. And I need you whole, not as someone who merely survived, but as someone who overflowed. Son, daughter, you are mine not only when you pray, but also when you forgive. Not only when you worship, but also when you choose not to repay evil for evil. You are strong, not because you were never broken, but because you chose not to be defined by your brokenness. You are healed, not because you forgot what they did to you, but because you chose to live beyond it. You are chosen not in spite of your pain, but because of it. Because I saw how you sought me even when nothing made sense. How you stayed silent when you could have shouted. How you sowed in tears while others had given up on the harvest. You are light, yes, and precisely for that many in darkness will draw near to you. Do not be afraid when you are sought by those who once ignored you. Do not retreat when you are called to be the answer where once you were the wound. Your response in the coming days will be key. Because you won't just seal the other's destiny, you'll seal your own deliverance. What seemed unfair, you'll see as strategy. What seemed like the end, you'll understand as preparation. What felt like abandonment will reveal itself as a calling. Because I am the God who turns the cross into resurrection, who gathers the tears from the dark and turns them into rivers of healing, who silences chaos and turns it into music, who transforms pain into purpose. So listen once more, with reverence and faith, not like someone who just hears, but like someone who is being prepared. Someone who hurt you will soon need you, and you will be ready, not because you fed your grudge in secret, but because you watered your heart with forgiveness, not because you waited for revenge, but because you placed it in my hands, not because you kept your arguments, but because you cultivated peace. And on that day, your attitude will be like fire upon the ashes of the past. And I will be glorified, not by the words you speak, but by the love you show, because the world preaches pride, distance, and indifference. But I call you to be different, to be like my son, who forgave even on the cross, saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You will be a reflection of that grace, and the one who hurt you will see that God lived in you, and then, without needing to prove anything, you will have overcome. You have already begun a sacred journey, one that moves beyond the initial act of forgiveness into a deeper realm of restoration and purpose. Forgiveness is not the final destination, it is the gateway. Beyond it lies the challenge and the blessing of rebuilding what was broken, not as it was, but as it was always meant to be, stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This rebuilding begins within your own heart. It requires you to confront the shadows that linger, the fears that whisper doubts, and the memories that threaten to chain you to the past. Healing is not a passive process. It demands courage to face what you would rather forget, and grace to allow transformation to take root in those very places of pain. Understand that healing is often messy. It does not follow a straight path, nor does it respect your timetable. There will be days when the wound feels fresh again, when the old hurt rises like a tide threatening to overwhelm you. In those moments, remember that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the soil where new life begins. Allow yourself to feel fully, to weep, to lament, and then to rise again with renewed strength. As you walk this path, guard your heart against bitterness. Bitterness is a thief that steals joy and blinds you to the beauty still present in your life. It is a poison that slowly erodes your capacity to love and to trust. Instead, choose to cultivate gratitude, even for the lessons learned through pain. Gratitude does not deny suffering, it acknowledges it and chooses to see beyond it. You are invited to become a living testimony of redemption. Your story, once marked by wounding, now becomes a narrative of hope. This transformation is not just for your benefit, but for those who will encounter you. Your life will speak louder than words, revealing a God who redeems, restores, and renews. In practical terms, this means embracing the discipline of daily surrender. Each morning, offer your heart anew to the healing process. Let go of yesterday's hurts and the temptation to replay old grievances. Instead, open your hands and your spirit to receive peace, strength, and wisdom for the day ahead. Remember that forgiveness does not erase boundaries. It does not require you to expose yourself repeatedly to harm or to pretend that all is well when it is not. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself to break free from the chains of resentment. Setting healthy boundaries is an act of self-love and protection, ensuring that your healing is not compromised. You may find that some relationships cannot be restored in the way you once hoped. This is a painful truth, but it does not mean that your healing is incomplete or that your love was wasted. Sometimes the greatest act of love is to release and to trust that God will bring justice and restoration in His perfect timing and way. In the quiet moments, listen for the still, small voice within you, the Spirit who gently guides you toward wholeness. This inner voice will often lead you to unexpected places of peace, even amid ongoing challenges. Trust it, nurture it, and allow it to shape your responses and your heart. Healing also calls you to extend compassion to yourself. You are not defined by your wounds or your past mistakes. You are a beloved child, worthy of kindness and patience. Treat yourself with the same tenderness you would offer to a dear friend who has suffered deeply. As you grow in grace, you will discover that your capacity to forgive expands. What once seemed impossible becomes a natural response. This is not because the pain has disappeared, but because your heart has been enlarged by the Spirit's work within you. Your journey will inspire others. People who have faced similar betrayals and wounds will see in you a beacon of hope. Your story will encourage them to take their own steps toward healing and forgiveness. You become a conduit of God's love and mercy, shining light into dark places. Do not underestimate the power of prayer in this process. Prayer is not only a means of seeking comfort, but also a way to align your will with God's. Through prayer, your heart is softened, your mind renewed, and your spirit strengthened to face each new day with courage. Healing is also a call to action. It compels you to live differently, to choose kindness where you might have chosen anger, to offer grace where you might have held judgment, and to build bridges where walls once stood. Your life becomes a testament to the transformative power of divine love. Sometimes healing will require you to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself and others. This honesty is necessary for genuine restoration. It may involve difficult conversations, seeking reconciliation, or simply acknowledging the depth of your hurt without allowing it to define you. As you continue, be patient with the process. Healing is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate small victories, moments when you choose peace over bitterness, when you respond with love instead of anger, when you feel hope rise in your soul. Surround yourself with a community that supports your journey. Healing flourishes in the soil of relationship. Seek out those who will walk with you in honesty, encouragement, and prayer. Avoid isolation, which can deepen wounds and foster despair. Your story is unique, and so is your healing journey. Avoid comparing your progress to others. Trust that God's timing and methods are perfect for you. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even when the steps are small and the path unclear. As you heal, you will begin to see the world through new eyes. You will notice the brokenness around you with greater sensitivity and compassion. This awareness will move you to acts of service and kindness, reflecting the heart of the one who heals all wounds. Your pain can become a source of strength and wisdom. The lessons learned through suffering equip you to counsel others, to offer empathy where it is needed most, and to be a voice of hope in a hurting world. Remember that healing is not linear. You may find yourself revisiting old wounds, but each time you will do so with greater resilience and understanding. Each encounter with pain becomes an opportunity to deepen your faith and your capacity to forgive. In moments of doubt, recall the times when God's faithfulness carried you through. Let those memories be anchors for your soul, reminding you that you are never alone, even in the darkest valleys. Your willingness to forgive and to heal is a powerful declaration against the forces of division and hatred. It is a testimony that love is stronger than pain, that mercy triumphs over judgment, and that grace can transform even the deepest scars. As you mature in this journey, you will find that your prayers shift. You will pray not only for your own healing, but also for the healing of those who hurt you. This is the hallmark of true spiritual growth, the ability to love beyond your own pain. You may encounter resistance within yourself and from others. Some will not understand your choice to forgive or to extend grace. Stand firm in your conviction, knowing that your peace comes from a source beyond human approval. Healing also invites you to embrace joy. It is not a betrayal of your past pain to laugh, to celebrate, or to find delight in life again. Joy is a fruit of the Spirit, a sign that healing is taking root in your soul. As you continue, keep your eyes fixed on the ultimate hope, the promise of restoration that transcends this life. This hope will sustain you through trials and inspire you to live as a witness of God's redeeming love. Your journey will not only change you, but will ripple outward, touching families, communities, and generations to come. The legacy of your healing is a testament to the power of divine grace at work in the human heart. Be mindful of the small daily choices that shape your healing. Choosing forgiveness in a moment of anger, offering a kind word instead of a harsh one, seeking understanding rather than judgment. These are the building blocks of a healed life.